Hey everyone, welcome to another Nerdrrage Diablo 3 video. This video is going to be about how to farm money and experience quickly and efficiently. Doing chain rifts, is decent for, experience, but you don't get as much gold, and unless you have a really solid group, the experience gain is just moderate. So this is something to do if you're soloing, most likely, because you're not always going to be finding groups, and soloing rifts just takes longer than a group, and it's just not as efficient. Plus you don't get that group buff, so this way is more efficient for soloing. So to start out, what I do is I search for 4 bounties. I search for the Hell Rift, which is Hell Rift level 1. This one doesn't have it. I search for Cryder's Outpost and the forward barracks. There's like a bunker and like regular barracks, but those have 2 levels and take a while. So those 2 are the ones you want to look for in Act 3, and Khazra's Den in Act 1, which is in the Fields of Misery. So this one doesn't have that. So the spec I use for this is Blood Vengeance, Archery, and the 2 defensive passives. The reason why I use Archery is because when searching for Khazra's Den, sometimes you vault around and go the wrong way, so having the Cinder Coat with the Trail of Cinders will reduce the vault cost heavily, and then having Archery will regen 1 hatred per second, so you can get a lot of vaults off before running out, and you can still pop the bat to get more hatred. This is really if you go the wrong way, and this way you don't need tactical advantage to move around. You just switch to double Deathshadowz and do this, and you'll be fine. So, and plus when you get the Harrington's buff, steady aim doesn't really help as much because it gives 20% additively, so 20% of 231% is less than a 10% total increase. Like, it still takes that 20% of 100. So the DPS is about the same when you have Harrington's up, and most of the time in these quests I do have Harrington's up, so, or at least half the time, and I don't have to worry about being 10 yards away from the mobs. So that's why for bounties, most likely, and I guess rifts because it's not that big of a deal, I choose Archery. But for greater rifts I would do steady aim just for the consistent damage, and you won't be getting the Harrington's buffs in greater rifts anyway. So let's start here. Cryder's Outpost 61. Since Cryder's Outpost is pretty close, you can just double Deathshadowz. You don't need to switch on the Syndicate. Hatred reduction. And the reason why I don't use Syndicate for farming is because the Mage Fists and this gives more DPS, and my Syndicate rolled armor, so look at the toughness decrease. I want to have a decent toughness total to kill shit. And I do have a Mara chest with percent sentry, but once again it didn't roll Vite, so it has similar toughness to this or any secondaries. Like, this also has 2 great secondaries for defense. So I decided, because I'm only dropping 1 or 2 sentries before everything dies, it's not a big deal. But in the future I am going to try and farm a sentry chest. So even though I don't even have the Harrington's buff, if I read and it's just 2 sentries I'm dead. And the globes get my hatred up and my discipline. I still have pretty much max discipline. I can vault around. If I'm ever low, I can switch to double Deathshadowz. And here's Death Corpse. So I need to go back. Once you do all the quests that are available, then you just leave the game and reset. I like to keep Rift it forward open, so in between doing these quests, if like there's a Torment 6 Rift available, I can try to join that. So that it gives you the option to do that just doing this, because you can just stop anytime. So here's clear the Hell Rift. This one you also don't need to throw on the Syndicate. This I just keep with me just in case there's healing well and I'm gonna drop like 2 sentries there. So I can just get the chest. Oh yeah, and because I have the be careful. I don't have to worry about getting 10 rounds away, just shit. Just vault around, drop the sentries, shoot, and just vault through them. Don't even like just be fucking that. So here's a good example. I don't need it now, but say I didn't have this buff, you could just switch here, grab this, and I got another wolf, another sentry, and I don't know, everything died anyway because I'm so OP. But that's the reason why I keep this on. And also if I'm vaulting around and I can't find Khazra's den, because that's the main annoying one, and I see a well, I can switch to those risks and get all my hatred back. And you notice it's 421k gold and 81 million experience. And the reason why I do stress having enough survivability is because if you keep dying doing this shit, then you're gonna be out of bonus pool, and the point is trying to get experience. So if you're dying, that's just 25% less. So here's a Khazra's Den example. I just want to show all the bounties before I stop this video. This one I do use. I notice the hatred cost is a lot less, 30%. And it takes a while for my hatred to dip, because archery is regenerating 1 hatred per second as well. That's the bonus with 2 one-hitters. So I mean, it still dips, but if I didn't have the Syndicate on, this would be close to empty. And usually sometimes I just use this and bam, back to full again. So you can just hold those 4 different pieces, and then once you find it, just go in here, switch all 4 items, and just clear. I'll just try to get those. To lead ahead of my sentry so that I hit like the next group. And here's a dead corpse. I waited till the buff was on. Just cast it down. And that's it. Usually if the elite spawns, early, then there's like a 50-50 chance you don't have to go to the end of Khazra's Den to clear the non-elites. But if there were more mobs, I would just switch to double Dignetas and vault to them quickly and just kill them with this, because there's usually a dead corpse there to give me the buff, and I can just cast 1 sentry and 2 plus enemies and I die. So those are the 3, and then the other one was forward barracks, the 4 quests that I do. And it does get annoying having to search for them, and not getting any of them like 2 or 3 times in a row. That's just bad RNG. But in the end, just constantly getting that 400k gold and 81 million experience quickly is beneficial. There's other quests that give the same quest reward, but they just take longer. You have to go through the first level. I mean, Hellriff is the only one where we're going through the first level to the second, but you start in the level in Hellriff level 1, so it's not a big deal. So same thing here. Now I'm going to do this one again, but I'll explain where the chests are located and the dead corpses. This one there's just chests. And you can focus on trying to get those. Notice I already ran out of half hatred just because I didn't use this Syndicate. It's not a big deal. There's always a chest over here on this side. Not always, but that's the spawn place. The other spawn place is up here. Yeah. So notice I can keep this stuff on for a while. And it's usually just along the sides. There's going to be one chest, usually in the top left. So now I'm using the chest buff. I'm going to try and go up here. Usually there's one here, this time there isn't. I just gotta be a little bit careful here. I mean, I can just pop a potion, even switch this, if I don't die. That's probably excessive, but I can get a second wolf out and do that. It's kind of risky, but okay. So usually there's a chest next to here, like a little chest. So if you're trying to do this cursed chest thing, that's a viewable option. But if there is none, you can just switch on to the witching hour. That's why I keep it there. You can switch to the calamities, throw in a debuff, and then calamities. So with that extra damage from the debuff, and just because I have raw damage, those units die pretty quick. So that's another thing about the Hoer. If you get this chest, and you just got to make sure you switch back to the Harringtons, switch back to your double Vignettas, and get ready to vault around for the next quest. Clear the barracks you don't want to do because that's 2 levels, and they didn't have Khazra's done there. So yeah, that's basically it. And to recap, the reason why I'm using the Mara chest and the Mage Fist is because the damage from the Mage Fist, especially since my Mara gloves don't have CD on them, it's just, you know, significantly more. So the only reason why I lose a lot of toughness is because this one has Vite, you know, a lot of Vite, but I lose a lot more toughness from this, and yeah, so I choose this setup. I mean, the only thing is that you don't have to switch to the Cindercoat if you're rolling with this setup, but I just want the extra damage, so that's why I just keep it here. And this is only for Khazra's Den anyway. Alright, so that's basically it. Hope you enjoyed the video.